So this is the second part on this video on intent. So I was describing this trusting in this state that was given to me and in this practice. So I was moving forward with intent. I was pointing in a way my will and my eyes and my heart towards a certain direction. And it was, you could say also, it was akin to a prayer also, this first moment. I was praying and looking in a certain direction with all my heart. And I realized I could, with that intent, navigate in that state. I could move forward. There was direction into what was happening. And I realized the more I used this intent, the more I would receive information and guidance. I might not be healed straight away from head to toe. I might not receive at some point some incredible illumination, but I would receive a guidance. And in this place where I would experience widened state that also included my own experience of suffering and darkness, but also I experienced space. And in that place, as I was mentioning, the more I moved forward, the more I felt something was responding. There were clear indications that what I should do, clear clarifying of some suffering I was having, images, intuitions, and definitely also something happening in my body. My body was moved in certain ways, and things I could feel connections with this extreme disruption of energy in my body. I could feel things happening that was positive for me. So intent really was a driving force there for me, and that came from me in a way, at least a part of me. So in this state of extreme powerlessness, I was also feeling something, a really experience of abyssal, really powerlessness and cosmic, you could say despair. Something was guiding and was bringing light, was bringing benevolence. In that state of powerlessness, my intent seemed to be a source of power. So I could not handle, I could not manipulate most of the aspects that were causing my suffering, including that state of extreme fragmentation. But the consciousness that was there and that was observing this could still point towards intent, point towards an intention of healing, of repairing, and something would respond. So that was and still is a form of power. So that's one aspect of intent. You are pointing your bow and your arrow in a certain directions, and you are letting go. This is your effort also, and then you're letting go in a certain direction, and then you are listening. And that's a different. That's the other aspect of this. You have to be able, in that state of expanded consciousness, to listen. Same thing when you are using a ritual. You are maybe not in the same expanded state of consciousness. There is a form of expanded state of consciousness in ritual, but you are creating certain elements. You're creating a ritual space. You are asking for guidance. You are using certain ritual elements here, and you are using certain objects or actions, and then you are also listening. That might be during the ritual and after the ritual, and you are trusting. So this is also where your intent is a form of faith, like a prayer. You might not have control over anything here and be in great suffering, but you can still use intent. The other aspect of intent in this practice that I was experiencing, though I had no framework of how to use this practice, I was not told to use it that way. I think most people in that school did not use it in that way. I just found I accessed a certain state in it. I know it was used as a spiritual practice, though, but I just went with this very, very, very far. And the other aspect of this is, in order to do this practice also and start it, I had to have both will and intent. So I had to move out of a certain inner state and say, I am going to enter on that mat. I am going to put the music on, the traditional music, and I am going to do this practice, whether I feel I cannot move one step forward, but I'm still going to do it. So in order to master intent, you have to master a level of will. And if you don't have a lot of willpower and you find you don't have it, or you know you don't have it, you can develop that through other practices. Any form of physical practice will help you with that if you do it regularly. And regularly is a key word here. Of course, if you enter the practice anyway and keep on with it, it will nourish that. But if you find even you lack that will to start that spiritual shamanic practice, then you might use other items that you feel are a bit nourishing to you, or you feel more at ease with, and do them in a regular way, day after day. And you start with little. If you cannot do a lot, you do just 5 minutes, but every single day, and then 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes, and then more. So you also build your will through increments. It's the same thing. If you were to do 10 squats a day, for example, as also will practice, you try to do them, those 10 squats every day. You might then do them twice a day, or you might just move from 10 squats to 15 squats a day, and then 20 a day, etc. This is purely an example, not medical or physical recommendation. But physical practices will help you at your level, and in your state of health, of course, will help you build willpower. So now, intent is not the contraction of willpower. You have to be able to point, repeat, and then be open and receive. If you are strictly contracted on will, as certain, for example, occultist traditions were extremely focused on this. For example, in the 19th century, European willpower is really important, but you have to be able also to enter into a receiving state. And so intent is not the contraction, repeated and complete contraction, and at least in my experience, of willpower. You move things forward through intent, and will, through will, and then intent carries on into a receiving state. You have to be able to listen. So intent is definitely, in your transformation work, is a very important part. In your ritual work is a very important part. In your healing work is a really important part. You have to be able to clarify intent, define intent clearly, and you have to be able to repeat it over a period of time. Intent, will and intent repeated over a period of time will gain power. So you are creating pathways, and things get more and more easy, but also those pathways carry more and more power, like they carry more and more electricity. So the connection through ritual to certain forces will create fast and efficient pathways for the delivery of power. This, if your intent is towards healing, will bring you sources of healing, connect you to sources of healing. I hope this is helpful, and I wish you a very good journey with your practice and in your own healing work, if this is what you are currently undergoing. Blessings.